What are you waiting for? It's time to take action. It's time to do this. Don't overthink. Hit it strong. It's the Do This Podcast with your host, GP Theriot.
Hey, welcome to the Do This Podcast. Stop overthinking, do this. Hi, I'm your host, GP Theriot, and I'm always excited to have you guys here because this is the podcast that'll get you motivated. If you're on the sidelines, you want to do something, this will get you to do it. And people ask me, GP, what does Do This stand for? Well, it stands for Don't Overthink, Hit It Strong. And today I am excited who we have for our guest, and I'll be introducing him in a minute. But right now I want to give a shout out to my producer who makes me look so good. Travis, what's up, my man?
I promise you, you are giving me too much credit. you make yourself look just fine, I promise you.
Well, Travis, this is our first podcast for 2023, and I'm excited, man, for this year.
It is. Great catch. How was your new year?
Man, it was great. It was kind of low key because we didn't go out of town. Okay. I'm fortunate. I have all family here in Dallas. So we, I've got 3 kids, so they're always doing their own thing, 14, 12, and 10.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's always chaos. But, man, we brought in the year great, and we're excited to get this year going.
Absolutely. Got some good momentum coming into 2023.
Absolutely, yes, man. And we're feeling it. 2023 is going to be an outstanding year. So, but hey, man, thanks again for everything you do, Travis. So let's just get into it. Who is my guest today? He's a top real estate agent in the Dallas Metroplex. And, I've been watching him for a while. We're good friends to begin with, so that's always a plus. But I just love everything he does. We were talking before he jumped on about he's so good at showing his lifestyle, of who he is, the fun he has. I mean, he's the type of guy that I want him to be in my corner. I want to work with this guy, and his story's just awesome. So with the introduction, it is Kyle Boehme. Did I say that right?
Pretty close. Boehme.
Boehme. He always gets on me about that.
It's not an easy one, so I don't expect everybody to.
And how do you spell that so they know what we're looking at?
Boehme.
Boehme.
But it's pronounced Bame. So it's not easy. It's not easy to remember, but yeah.
Kyle Boehme. Well, hey man,
appreciate the introduction and the kind words, and like you said, it's good to be friends and be able to be on your podcast. And
well, I'm excited, and it's kind of funny because when I invite people to come on, they're like, they're thinking it's probably like in my office or in my garage. So I love the reaction. So what do you think of the setup?
It's awesome.
Isn't it fun?
I mean, it's legitimate.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Well, good, man. Well, hey,
a newscast.
Yeah, it feels professional, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we got Travis. He's a professional producer. I mean, he's the one. I mean, on his offsite job, I think he's a DJ too. Am I saying that right?
That's correct. I am an on-air DJ for K104.
There we go.
Yes,
there we
indeed.
go.
Yes,
so
indeed.
we got the real deal here. But man, let's just kind of jump into it. So real estate, I know, it's been an interesting 2022. I mean, depending who you talk to, people are going to say it was a tough year. Numbers were down. But man, I saw what you did, and it looks like you had a pretty good year. What do you want to say to that?
Yeah, no, it was a tough year. Things went really well for me. I'm very fortunate to have, produced the numbers that I brought in, but there was nothing easy about it. And I think I'm very fortunate to be in a seasoned spot in real estate. I've been doing this for almost 9 years now, so I've over the years developed a solid book of business, and have just really connected with people all over Dallas. So fortunately I have, the clients that kind of had no choice. They are having more kids. They were running out of space.
Right.
They had to make things work in the current kind of situation that we're seeing with rates and the economy and inflation and everything. So it was an interesting year. It was probably one of my most difficult in my 9-year stint, just with the volatility of everything.
Right.
And it was wild, and we'll see what happens here in 2023. I'm excited.
Yeah, well, I love how you're modest about being, it was tough, but I would have known because, I do see the numbers that come out with the producers, and dude, you had an outstanding year.
Thank you.
So that's so encouraging for me because I'm tired of people because, I say this, two things people are going to react to. Either they're going to sit on the sideline and just hope they can get through it, or they're going to take action and be out there. And yeah, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. And that's what I heard is like, yeah, you had to work a little harder, but look where it got you. I mean, to me, yeah, your numbers might be down a little, but based off what I saw in your report, wow. What a great year.
Yeah, no, it was better than I anticipated. It was actually my best year yet. So I'll take it.
Dude, wait a minute. Time out. Yeah. Best year yet. So, I mean, that just shows you, I mean, that's awesome. I mean,
thank you.
If anything, that should motivate people out there that, you know, are struggling right now. It's real easy.
Yeah.
Just put in the work.
Yeah.
Right? And I know for me personally, I got content. I've been doing this 20 years, and I'm having to get back to the basics. We were talking about, like, I actually have to work now at night to start doing pre-approvals, doing more work, which I used to do back when I first got in the business, like hustling. But it takes what it takes. But at the same time, you know, I'm okay with this kind of shift right now because it is going to weed out the yahoos in our industry from loan officers to real estate agents, and we're going to rise to the top. Well, you've already, I think, risen to the top, and the momentum's only going to continue to keep going. So again, I could go on and on about you, but let's get down to the nitty gritty about how did you get in real estate? Was it one of those things that you knew your whole life you were going to be in real estate?
No.
Okay, that's kind of the common answer.
Yeah, I did not. And I think talk to most agents. I don't think you wake up as a second grader dreaming to be a real estate agent. Like, I did realize as I got older, especially like right before I got licensed, that like I was on the back end like obsessed with real estate as a kid, but I didn't realize I didn't correlate into being a real estate agent. But like the things that I was like I loved were like had to do with architecture, and I was obsessed with like I grew up in a small town. We get the Houston Chronicle. I was obsessed with like flipping through on Sunday, looking at all the big houses. Like I was very like mesmerized by real estate, but I never like actually thought that I would get into it. So it kind of happened abruptly when I got to Dallas, post college. So,
and college was where?
Texas A&M.
You're an Aggie.
Giggle, man. I don't have my ring on.
Oh, you're not a real
Super today.
So I was, LSU Tigers. Yep. So unfortunately, we talked about how I was at that game this year.
Yep.
The last game of the season, if you're not in football, but
heck of a game.
We had a good chance of really ending on a bang, and y'all ruined our season, by the way. So thank you, Aggies. But it was still a good time.
You loved it. A&M's great.
Yeah.
College Station's great.
Okay, so you went to college station, great school. Did after school, what brought you to Dallas if you're from Houston?
I had a corporate job that I was offered March of my senior year. Okay. Just a software job. It's just, I didn't really know much about Dallas. I grew up very close to Houston, so Houston was kind of home base.
Okay.
In terms of big, going to a big city for, the amenities or whatnot. But I got offered this job. I moved here a month after I graduated in May. Did this corporate thing for about a year and a half. Was not for me, but it was the perfect job out of college. I met a ton of really awesome people that I'm very close with today. It was a very young company. I kind of learned the business world, learned to be a professional, and just to function in adult society. So it was great. I learned a lot, and it just was not for me. I wanted something more. I had a friend that was in real estate that was doing very well. He was a newer agent. I was 24, very naive. I kind of just signed up for my real estate license. I quit my job pretty abruptly, got licensed, and it's been a journey since. But
so you went all in.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of people kind of try to keep the job, kind of build that side.
I went all in, and I honestly shouldn't have, because like when I quit my job, I didn't have very much money in savings. I was a 24-year-old. I was completely just oblivious.
Well, you totally defined this podcast. You absolutely do this.
I had
you
to
stopped overthinking,
and I did this, and then I got through it, but it was rough. So kind of timeline, quit, got my license. A couple months later, went and worked with my friend up in Frisco. I don't do business up there much. I do every now and then now, but my business was,
You were living down in Dallas?
It was in Lower Greenville.
Yeah.
Anyways, I went all in, didn't have a part-time job. I went through all of my savings in like 3 months, had no money. I vividly remember this. I was like walking in Trader Joe's on Greenville, and I like checked my bank account. I had like hardly enough money to pay all my bills. Wow. So I was like, okay, everyone's like, I'm not gonna fold.
Yeah.
Long story short, I worked at Trader Joe's for 3 months to just pay my bills for just.
You started working at Trader Joe's.
I worked at Trader Joe's.
Got it. Well, that's a fun place.
I worked there for 3 months,
Yeah.
but I would wake up at 5, go work at Trader Joe's till noon, and then I would go to the real estate office from 12 to 6 and just work and work and work. And then I was eventually, like 6 months later, I was offered a job from Rogers Healy, and that's how I kind of got on my feet.
So real fast, I just want to highlight this because this is a big deal. I didn't know this about you.
Yeah.
And this is a really big deal because most people, college grad, had a good corporate job, and you decide to go all in real estate down to your pennies. And so either you could have been like, you know what, I'm going back to corporate America. I'm going back to Houston. I got family there. You know what, throw in the towel. But you stuck with it. You had the humility to like, you know what, I'm okay. I'm okay to get a job at Trader Joe's, because a lot of people would be like,
oh no, it was not easy for me.
Yeah.
My ego got in the way, and
100%.
I remember I was checking groceries one day, and I had my Aggie ring on. I was working at the one on Lovers, so it was mostly Highland Park people.
Yeah.
And this lady that I was checking out, she was like, why are you working here?
oh my gosh.
And I was just like, it was like very like numbing, and I was just like, you know what, I'm like trying to build a business right now.
Yeah.
And that like kind of like fired me up, honestly. It
I was gonna
piss me off. I was like, you know what, like
Yeah.
I'm doing what I can to succeed, and this is not what I planned, and this is not what I anticipated. I went from making pretty good money out of college to
Right.
making $15 an hour, stocking cheese.
Yeah.
Like it was rough. Like I was very like, I didn't talk to people for a while. I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I look back at it now, and I'm glad that it happened because it brought me back down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I got 2 deals out of it. So it's like
There you go.
I sold one of my first houses through one of the people that worked there, and then it actually led to 3. So at the end of the day, it was all like I was supposed to be there. It all happened for a reason.
Yeah. Oh, I agree 100%. And again, it's powerful where anybody out there right now they're struggling. They're
Yeah.
ready to probably throw in the towel. And man, those dark, I don't want to know if they were dark times, but tough times.
They were, yeah.
Yeah. Tough times. But look where it's put you. And those are the stories I hear regularly. I mean, people that are successful, what people have to understand is you didn't get there overnight, and the pain and the work you had to put in to get to where you are. I mean, that's the story, the success story of everybody, the American dream, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
man, thank you for sharing that, because
Of course.
people want to hear that. That's the side that we want to hear. Yes, you had a great year. We started the podcast off. Congrats, it's your great year. But now we're getting to the nitty gritty, and I learned that today. I did not know that about Kyle. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing.
I know
that.
where everything is in Trader Joe's.
Yes. That's awesome. Well, okay, so from Trader Joe's to real estate, so where was the breaking point? Because I know you got hired with somebody, right?
Yeah. So I worked for a boutique broker. I was at Keller Williams for like 3 months, and I was like, nah.
Okay.
And then I went to a boutique brokerage down on Greenville, a different one. I was there for like 6 months. I was just working at the front desk.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting by. It was good. I was fine. And then while I was working there, a pretty well-known broker, I was in a private Facebook group with Rogers Healy.
Okay.
That he saw me post in that group for the other broker I was working with. Long story short, he messaged me on Facebook and was like, hey, I'm looking for an assistant. And at the time, I was really happy where I was. So I was like, he messaged me. I actually didn't know much about him at the time. I was new. So I was like, I'm good. Thank you for reaching out. I'm happy. Long story short, he reached out 2 weeks later. A very persistent person.
Yes.
Very persistent. And then coincidentally, like I remember like the day before he reached out to me for the second time, I saw his billboard. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the guy that messaged me on Facebook.
So you didn't really know who he was.
No, I'd heard about him, but
Right.
I didn't like
Okay.
put a name with a face.
Yeah.
So anyways, I saw his billboard literally like the day before he reached out to me, round 2. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the guy from the billboard. I was like, maybe whatever. Like, so I gave it, I was like, he messaged me, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'll come meet with you at least. And he hired me on the spot, and literally the next day I was working for him because
Wow.
I was let go from the other broker.
Because they knew you were talking to him, or
Well, I told the other broker, I don't know if I should say names. I told the other broker that I was putting in my 2 weeks. I was going to go work for Rogers, and they weren't fond of each other, so I was let go that day.
Okay.
And then I immediately left. I left Original broker went home, changed, and Rogers was like, come in today.
Wow.
So it was like a very chaotic day. I'll never forget it. And then I just started working for him the same day that I was let go.
Yeah. Well, and you're still with Rogers today.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to
Yeah.
that. So yeah. Well, first off, I love seeing, I've known Rogers and the growth he's had.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been awesome. And what a great mentor.
Yeah. I
to,
learned a lot
to work under.
Yeah. It was a lot. He's intense.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that he even gave me the opportunity.
Yeah.
I was 7 months into being a real estate agent, and he gave me the opportunity to be in front of multi-million-dollar clients, pulling up in my Volkswagen at the Ritz, showing a property. So it was very like, oh.
So I'm curious, what do you think it was? So why was he so persistent? I mean, what made you stand out, you think?
Honestly, I don't know exactly what it was. He one of the first things he said, I like what I'm seeing. So I would post for the other broker in this group.
Okay.
And I try not to take myself super serious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He said he liked the way that I communicated
Okay.
via that group. And then I think he did a little deep diving on me. He knew some people that knew
Okay.
me. I knew some people that worked for him through school.
Okay.
So anyways, he kind of did some back end research
Okay,
on me,
cool.
I think. And then
But you stood out with the post in the private group. It
Yeah.
sounds like, hey.
yeah, they were always
that happens to me all the time,
they were
like,
always
wait, who
kinda
is
light
this?
and
Yeah,
fun,
yeah.
and I think that's how he operates.
Yeah.
Like he's intense, but he's also
Right.
tries to have fun with the way he
Yeah.
posts and
Sure.
all of that. So
That's awesome. So so you're now at Rogers. Where does that take you? Because obviously he did something, y'all did something right because to your success where you are now. How long were you like working with him and decided?
Yeah.
Was that hard? Like to
oh
have
my
that
gosh,
conversation?
it was to transition out.
Yeah,
from
to
that- from
go out on your
from
own.
out being hit.
Yeah.
Yes, it was like I also because I felt like flat on my face, 3 months into getting my license, that after working for him about a year and a half, I felt ready. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just like it felt different than the last time. Like
Right.
it was terrifying to be taken off a payroll and get my little commission cuts from his deals,
Mm-hmm.
but the timing just felt right.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying because I was like, okay, here we go again. Like you have to make it or break it. At that time I felt I had enough kind of going on the back end that I was just like, yeah, it's like let's just do it.
Yeah.
And you've got
had that
you've got
mentality, do
you've got
this again.
support this time.
Yeah.
I feel like I had better support and a lot more experience, and people took me more serious because just my affiliation with him.
Yeah.
A lot of people knew who he is. They see me with him. They see me showing clients for him, us together, and I just was ready.
Yeah. Well, I see it a lot. I'm sure you do too. When people think, they're with a team or with a mentor, they want to go on their own and they fall flat on their face and they don't succeed. So,
Yeah.
Obviously you have the drive, but I mean, why do you think you were able to succeed?
Honestly, I just don't like failure.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just was like, I just wanted to prove to people that I could do this. Like I knew that there were people kind of waiting for me to fail. They didn't take it serious when I got into real estate, and I just kind of had no other option. I always kind of grew up just grit.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up middle class, great family, but like didn't have a lot of things. It wasn't really an option for me to fail.
Right.
Because like I really enjoyed it, and I was like, at the time it was great because I had super low overhead. So like I was like, this is the time to do it. Just be persistent. And I got a taste of it via Rogers, like closing the big deals with him,
Right.
and like just the cush,
Yeah.
like
Motivate you.
that I could get to.
Right.
But I knew it was going to be like, it wasn't going to be overnight. And as soon as I slowly started to close my own deals, I was like, okay, like this is great. This feels good. And then, I just didn't even allow myself to think about failing because I just didn't want to.
That's that's awesome. And
So-
and I think that's another good point is you have to realize it's a scaling business. I mean, you have your goals, hit this. I mean, you just said you just hit your best year in the toughest market. So what kind of confidence does that give you now going into 2023?
A lot.
Yeah.
Like, people ask me regularly now, especially, like, are you worried about the market? Are you worried? I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely not worried about it, because, like, I honestly know that I can get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of, like, I don't want the market to plummet, but, like, I will prove myself if it does.
Yep.
Like, I want to set myself apart from other agents that, you know, like you said, like, weeding out some of the agents that got into this when it was kind of an easier position. But
so you're right in that mark, because I've had this conversation with the agents that have been in the business for about 10 years. I mean, they've had it good. I mean, y'all have had it good, and y'all haven't really experienced, like, I mean, I've been in 20, so I experienced the 2007, 2009, right? I got through that. So I feel like now it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And so, like I said, they're sitting in, obviously your drive is there, because you said you've been in now right at 10 years?
Almost 9.
9. Okay.
Yeah.
So you fit that category where, wow, this market, and I mean, man, your mentality is totally different than other agents that I've talked to that have been in 10 years or less. I mean, they are concerned. And
yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm not concerned at all.
Right.
But
Well,
I'm
that's
like, I just
natural.
know that I can get,
You can get
I'll
through
get
it.
through it.
Yeah,
Like, you know, I've fought the fight, you know, when I first got into it, and I'm just like, why can I not?
You've been through, I mean.
Right. It's like, it's okay. It's going to work out.
Yeah.
I'm, you know, out, like you mentioned earlier, getting back to the basics, that like excites me.
Yep.
Like, you know.
You know, I haven't been more excited in my career, because I think I got content, and it's just like the drive is back again, the passion. Like, we're actually whiteboarding, you know, our process. I haven't done that in probably 10 years or 8 years maybe, you know, which is embarrassing to say, because we just kind of had a machine, but we've got to get back to the basics.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got to bring value, and, you know, the key is, I think right now too, is educating, communicating to your clients, because it is a great time to buy. I mean, we can talk about that. I think now is the best time ever to buy, because everybody's so scared. They're sitting on the sideline, and we know what's going to happen. These rates are going to come down. And when they do, the floodgates are going to open back up, and it's going to drive prices back up. But what do you see? Like, I mean, you just told me before we jumped on that you just had a listing and it had multiple offers.
Yeah.
So one, why do you think that is? And two, because I'm hearing that, but you know, I feel like if it's priced right is what it comes down to.
It is. If it's priced right, and if the house is like, the house is a 10 out of 10, and you price it where it should be, you're gonna get multiple offers.
Yeah.
Especially in a neighborhood like Richardson. Like, it was in Richardson. It checked all the boxes. Good school. My clients renovated it like meticulous. It was a perfect house. And like when I was, you know, when we were looking at numbers to price it, we also looked at just the integrity of the other properties in the neighborhood. They were all like, you could just tell they were just not up to par with what a lot of people want. They want
And
ready.
were they priced high though?
Some of them were a little overpriced, yeah. And we came in actually a little aggressive. Like, I was like, this is a little higher than I wanted to do, but because of everything that they've put into this, I was like, let's just try it. And we ended up getting $20K over.
So that just shows, though, because I guarantee you, and you probably have had these conversations, these sellers still think that they can get the prices that we're going for over a year ago, right? Like in 2021, when it was nuts.
Yep.
And even in beginning of kind of 2022. So obviously, it just shows if you work with the right person and you educate them and show them this is what will happen.
Yeah.
Multiple offers.
I know.
Did you say went over asking?
20K over. And it's
in
like,
this market.
It'll be like a record-breaking price per square foot in that neighborhood too. And like, that was not. I mean, I was preparing them for, you know, it could take us a week or two to get under contract, and that was like, you know, I was hoping that was the case. Yeah. And it was like, no, we were under contract in 3 days.
Wow.
60 people at my open house. They were just like flabbergasted and super, super excited. So it was like not what I expected, but it made me feel good. Yeah. Like, it made me, like, I'm like, okay, like, it's not dead. Yep. Like, the noise is like the biggest thing right now that you have to, like, for me personally, I'm like, I'm trying not to listen to the noise. Yeah. Because I'm experiencing actually all the even the end of 2022, all the listings I had, they were all multiple offers. 7, no, but like 3, 4. I'm like, okay, if you have the right home, and I'm fortunate to have clients that have, you know, homes that they take care of, and they listen to me in terms of
It's-
pricing.
that doesn't
Right.
matter. They still have to listen to you
Right.
to how to
Right.
price it, because most of those homes are, like you said, in great condition. They're going to want a lot more than it's worth.
Right.
Or you know what I mean. They think everybody thinks their
Of
house
course.
is worth so much more
Yeah.
than it is. So two questions. So obviously I want to talk about 2023, but in 2022, since you had a great year, what was one of your favorite transactions and why was it so special to you?
One of my favorite transactions. I was
Or it could be a difficult one. Just kind of what was rewarding, or what's one that stands out?
There was a couple I was working with that was a VA. Oh my gosh, I think you may have done their loan.
Did I? I hope so.
You did, Finkley.
Yes.
That was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite transactions.
What's up?
Yeah.
All right.
That was one of my. Yeah. I just like. I don't know. They were just like very. It wasn't. I found them a property off market.
Yeah.
In Richardson. I actually represented both sides, which was actually.
I remember this one.
Very complex.
totally.
Like I don't love to do intermediaries.
Literally, I had no idea you were going to bring this one up. This was totally not.
Yeah, I just like there was something special about that.
Yeah.
We couldn't find anything that they wanted, and everything was flying off the shelf. And I have these clients that I sold this house to in Richardson 3 years ago. Long story short, they ended up just like working out perfectly.
I totally remember
Both
that.
parties were really excited.
Yeah.
And they were just like so appreciative and grateful of the whole process.
Yep.
And I don't know, it was like a feel good, just because like I knew they were running out of time, and we ended up finding them like their dream home.
perfect
so
home.
it was just great. It was
And on top of it, it was a veteran and
Yes.
a VA. That's my passion. If you don't
Yes.
know, I'm a veteran, and I am a huge advocate for helping our veterans use their VA home benefits.
yeah, so it was good. And the sale of their other home was a complete disaster, but that's what made it sweeter whenever we closed on the new house, because it was like that was a mess. They were super stressed, and we just like fought through it and figured it out. And anyways, it was fun.
I love that.
It was a good one.
That totally was like that.
And she always posts pictures in the backyard of like, and that makes me so happy because I knew that they have this sweet dog. I'm a big animal person, but they have a big lab, and like they just wanted a big yard and place to entertain, and like it's been fun seeing them like just enjoy it so much.
That's awesome. Big animal person. You have a dog?
I have a dog.
What
yeah.
kind of dog do you have?
Boston Terrier.
Boston Terrier.
Yeah.
How long have you had it?
Is 8.
She 8.
Yeah.
Does she jog with you or do anything like
No,
that?
she's Bostons aren't like the best running.
Okay.
They get
Yeah.
little noses, so
Yeah.
she's we go on walks every day. That's our thing. But
The reason I said that because you can't tell, but Kyle is Mr. Fit, so
I'm trying. CrossFit's been.
Oh, that's
something
right.
I've had-
You injured your shoulder. Yep.
But I'm training for a half right now.
Okay.
To do out in Fort Worth next month.
So I think that's a big important. Let's talk about that. So because I'm big on morning routines, working out, staying. Because I think the health. I say you got to have your
Health is
health
wealth.
to enjoy your wealth,
Health
right?
is- yeah, health is
100%.
wealth.
I'm 48 and I feel better now because I'm just constantly. I met with my trainer this morning at 5:15 this morning. So just want y'all to know that.
Earlier than I.
Yes, yeah. I'm
go
gonna
in the
early.
morning.
Well, I have 3 kids, so I have to get back early. But
Uh-huh.
but yeah, do you give a lot of? I mean, don't you feel like if you didn't work out, your health, all that?
Oh, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah.
Like as crazy as that sounds, like my life changed when I started like routinely working out in the morning.
I love that.
That was early in my career actually. Rodgers actually got me into CrossFit.
Yeah.
While I was his assistant, and I was a little chunky guy.
Really?
I wasn't always, and I was like 20 pounds heavier than I am now.
Okay.
22 pounds heavier. Anyways, when I didn't have a lot of money. I was
Yeah.
eating really crappy food.
Yeah, yeah.
And long story short, I started doing CrossFit with him. I hated it. I stuck with it though, and then I became, obsessed once
Okay.
I started seeing results, and I started feeling better, eating
Yep.
better.
That's
It's just
exactly
like
how
it just like your whole everything else changes.
Yep.
When you start to feel better, you like want to excel in every other area of your life.
Can't agree more.
And relationships, like you feel good, you just like want to like just conquer things.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
And I see it in people. I have a good friend of mine who started this past year. He took the health, the working out serious, and he's like a different person, his career, everything. He's told me that. So that's awesome.
I-
Well, Miracle Morning, it's a great book. And I also start off with a gratitude. I always, start with a positive mindset, something that you're grateful for.
Yep.
And I love it. You said something, the noise, you can push that aside.
Yeah.
And just stay positive and do the things you do. Well, man, what a great, I love everything you've done. So real fast, 2023, what do you see so far? I mean, I'm already feeling good about it. I mean, the
Same.
activity that's already started. Before we jumped on, I had an email. I had to send a pre-approval letter out. So, it's happening. And I sent 2 yesterday. So
Yeah, I feel good about 2023. I'm excited for 2023. I'm excited to get back to the basics. I'm excited to just kind of get back into the systems I used to have.
Well, you know what I'm excited about is getting back to like having the relationship again with the agents, because I feel like it's been just chaos even during the refi boom, then that crazy purchase boom. It was just like we never had, and obviously had COVID in the mix of that. So we haven't had a chance to really build those business relationships. You know what I mean?
Yep,
And I'm excited.
I'm excited to see clients again.
Yeah, clients and
I
just-
didn't even have time to really squeeze in lunches because literally chaos for a year and a half.
And it was like that on the mortgage side too.
Yeah.
It was
So,
just
like, I'm excited
Like
to,
we
like-
lost contact. I got so content, and all of us were bad about staying in contact with our referral partners. You know, and the thing about this business is, you said something like you love what you do, but I also love working with the people. Picking the right people who you want to do business with.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a big key piece. Well, man, what else? Somebody right now that's listening, you've said so much, but that's on this, that's really struggling right now. What's your words of wisdom, or some encouragement, to go out there and do this? Stop overthinking, do this.
Yeah, I would say, it's all about mindset. Like you said, like gratitude in the morning is a big thing. I have a little 2-minute journal thingy where you write what you're grateful for every morning. Just remember, for me, like whenever I was just struggling, I'm like, okay, like I still need to be grateful for what I have, because the opportunities are there. I just have to chase them. And you really have to just stay focused, because the world and like society in general, there's noise. And you really just have to, for me, writing down my goals is huge. And seeing them every single day and just like slowly chipping away and not expecting everything to happen overnight. It's those little wins that you can just conquer slowly but surely. If you're patient, you'll get there. You have to work hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't want to work hard.
People don't want to work at all.
People don't want to work.
They don't.
And that's the thing. I'm like,
you have to work.
You have to work.
Yes.
And some people, I've just really realized that I'm proud of what I do. That I used to just kind of struggle with seeing value and worth in myself and what I do, and I'm just come to a place where I am grateful for where I am and what I do, and the services that I provide to people, and it's more than just a job too. It's how can I help these people?
Yeah.
What am I passionate about? How can I intertwine the things I'm passionate about into my career? So it's I don't know, just doing what you love and not being afraid to mess up. I've messed up so many times, and
It's
some
okay,
people,
right?
and some people don't like me.
Right.
I can't, not hopefully most of my every night
You can't please everyone.
You can't please everybody.
You can't.
But for the most part, I built a great book of business, and there's the occasional people that don't like to work with me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best, and you just gotta put up a fight.
Yeah.
So
I love it, man. Well, what a great one. And I want to end on this. I've started my new year with, it's called the AAA theory. And what that is, it's attitude. Attitude is everything. So it's a mindset. You got to have a positive, right attitude. And then it's action. We talked about, you've got to take action. And then it's accountability. I think it's important. You've got to have somebody to help you that's going to hold you accountable.
Yep.
You got to have somebody. You can't do it on your own.
No.
You can't. And I'm going to throw a bonus back to the attitude is affirmations.
Yep.
You will make an impact today. And I guarantee you, somebody's listening to this podcast right now, and they're like, thank you, Kyle, because I mean your story. I mean Trader Joe's. That's all I'm going to say. That was
There you go.
I think that's just powerful and that's awesome. So man, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
You're the man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
This
man.
is great.
This was a great podcast, and I can't wait to share this.
a lot of fun.
And yeah, hey, share this if you're listening to this right now. Again, this is Do This Podcast. Stop overthinking. Do this. And if you didn't get something out of that today, man, if you put in the work, you can be successful no matter what you do. So just do this. Don't overthink. Hit it strong. So thanks for joining us. And Kyle, I end all my podcasts with do this, where you point straight at this camera right here. All right. So hey, go out there and do this.